Okay.
Hello there. I think I'm on. I'm Camilla McGill and I'm your host tonight. And if you're on with me, I'd love to hear from you in the chat box. So to your right, just say hi, say your name, and then I know that you're with me. Okay, so how to potty train your child without tears, frustration, and lots of mess. Hi, Natalie. Lovely that you've joined us. I am really, really excited. I've got so many people signed up for tonight. It's going to be a great night. I'm very grateful to you for being with me in such difficult times because my goodness, I know everybody out there is in really, really challenging situations. I'd love to know where you're from. So I've got loads of people saying hi. Maybe you can just say where you are in the world. And yeah, just a huge thank you. It's a real commitment to your child or your children. Maybe you've got twins or something, that you're here to learn tonight in amongst the chaos that's going on in the world. So what I'd love you to do is switch off your phones. Perhaps you've got a drink beside you and just be with me for the next probably 45 minutes, an hour. And, I hope that you're going to take something away. And I hope that you're going to find it really, really valuable. So as I just mentioned, I'm Camilla McGill, and I'm the founder of My Parenting Solutions. And I am a parent educator, and I've been working in parenting for 20 years now. So the year 2000 was when I first started teaching. I'm a mother of 4. I absolutely adore my children. They're getting big now. And I'm completely passionate about potty training. And I'm going to tell you in a little bit why. But so that's me. And I've got lots of people here from all over the world. And I've got dads and mums. It's really lovely. So just keep on. They're coming in thick and fast. But it's great that you're saying hi to me. So what I'm going to give you today is based on what I have learned from the many years that I've been working with parents. I work in the field of parenting. I don't exclusively work teaching parents potty training, which actually brings a huge amount of depth to my work. And from working with so many parents, I've figured out that there are a lot of mistakes that they make. Now, I don't want you to feel like, I'm going to tell you the mistakes you're making and make you feel guilty. But I'm telling you this because I'm also going to put you straight. So, the 3 mistakes that most parents will often make with potty training and what to do about it. So my family, who I said that I'm a mother of 4, and here on the left are my children when they were much, much younger. So I have 2 girls, Scarlett and Alice, and I have 2 boys, Nico and Felix. And there they are with me now. So they now are between the ages of 14 and 22. And I absolutely love being a mother, and I'm not a perfect parent. And, what I'll want to get across tonight is this isn't about perfect parenting, but it's about learning some skills to help you do things differently. And we can have such a big impact on our children. And we can have a really, really positive impact on potty training, which is obviously why you're here. But I want to really reinforce that parenting isn't about being perfect. It's just about doing the best you can with the resources that you have. And sometimes you need to add to your resources, which, I hope you'll be doing tonight. So there they all are, my kids. Oh, and there's my husband with them, Paul. So my story, how did I even get into particularly focusing in on the area of potty training? Well, it came from the many, many mistakes that I've made with my son Felix. So there he is. He's about that age, the age of about 2.5 at that point. And I just had a baby, And it was about 2 weeks into having a newborn and a 2.5-year-old. And in my wisdom and a kind of baby fug, I thought, oh, this is about the right time. He's the right age. And I'm here, I'm sitting on the sofa a lot, breastfeeding, and I should just focus, I should just potty train him. So without any preparation, literally from one day to the next, I took his nappies off. And oh my goodness, what a mistake was that. We really, really struggled with him. He just wasn't interested. He used to fight me when I suggested that he sat on the potty. He did wheeze and poos all over the house, which, it's not unusual to expect accidents, but it was such a battle. And it was really, really miserable. And the battle went on, and time was going by, and we were getting more and more frustrated. And so we asked friends, and they said that they'd tried using Smarties. So we thought, okay, we'll motivate him with Smarties, and that didn't work. He wouldn't produce anything, and then he'd scream the place down for the Smarties. Then we thought we'd make some threats, and unless you use the potty, you can't watch your TV program. Or we would, use things like removing things that he couldn't, play with until he tried. And, I kind of felt like I should know because I was in parent education, but we just got it so wrong. And I remember one day he went to a friend's house and he did the most enormous poo there. He got really upset. I'd had a little break with, just being alone with the baby. And I was called by the mum because he was so distressed. I had to come and clean him up. So I really just didn't know what to do. And then I thought, you know what, we need to take a different approach. So what did we do to solve the problem? Well, actually, we got some expert help. We found that doing it alone wasn't working, and it really started to change things. And the advice we got was to change our approach to him. So one of the big things that we learned was that we taught him how to understand his body, the brain-body connection, which is a big, big underpinner of the work that I do with parents. And we began working with him instead of telling him what to do. And it made such a difference. So what happened to Felix? He stopped resisting us, and he wanted to use the potty. He gained newfound confidence in his own abilities, and he came out of his shell. And it was a really big change for us, from feeling miserable just to feeling like we've got a happy child again. So tell me, I'd love to hear from you as to I'm going to ask you in a minute to give me a 1 or a 2 or a 3 in the chat box, and I'm going to tell you why. So why are you here? Maybe this describes you. You're nervous to start and worried about all the mess and the stress. And my goodness, we've got enough stress going on at the moment. And maybe you're just thinking, oh, can I actually face it? Maybe you started and it all went wrong, and you don't know what to do next. And you're thinking, he or she just doesn't seem to get it. Or maybe you just think, my child doesn't seem interested. How can I tell when to start? So perhaps, or you may be dealing with a specific problem, but let's have a look. And I think maybe you're looking for a roadmap. Maybe that's where you are. How should I do this? So in the chat box, give me a 1 if you're not sure when to start and would like to help to get it right. Maybe you're in the middle of it and your child isn't really getting it. Or maybe you've started and failed and don't know whether to start again. So I've got lots of 1s and 2s. Number 1, number 2, silly joke there. And if that doesn't describe you, you could just tell me if there's something else. So, perhaps you don't know, not sure when to start, like some help, you're in the middle of it, and your child isn't getting it, or you started and failed and you don't know whether to start again. Okay, great. We seem to actually be getting a real mixture of everything. So thank you. So listen, stay with me if this is you. You want us to successfully potty train with a gentle, mindful approach. If you're an active and involved parent, I've got a lot of parents saying that they're having trouble with poos. I'm going to touch on that. You want to learn more positively about connecting with your child, and you want to learn some powerful, versatile techniques. You know, parents that I work with tell me all the time that they use the techniques with all their children. Sometimes I get parents, frequently actually, I get parents coming to me with a second child that they've had a difficulty with. And they then say, actually, the techniques that I taught them are as incredibly versatile and useful with a child that's older, or even the child that's younger than the child that they want to potty train. So that if that describes you, then please stay with me. If you want just a quick fix, if you want to just a potty training approach that, with me to promise that it's going to be done and dusted in 2 days, and it's just a one size fits all, then probably my approach isn't going to suit you. But if this describes you, written up here, then please, stay with me. And imagine this. Imagine that you enjoy the process and you feel like you know your child so much better. And your child has gained so much confidence in himself or herself, and no more smelly nappies going to landfill. I mean, goodness, think about that. You know, it is a real game changer when you get your child out of nappies, or they're not, sneaking off to fill their pants with poo, which is another really common one, even if you've got them so far. So, I think the environment could do with a lot less nappies. So it's just a great one. If you can imagine that that's going to be, you don't have to buy them anymore. You don't have to deal with them anymore. So imagine what that would feel like. So here's the thing. Potty training mindfully isn't just about getting the job done. It's about deepening your love and your connection with your child and increasing their self-belief. And so that is this is the really important thing that I want you to take away with you tonight. So these are the 3 biggest mistakes that parents tend to make. They tend to jump in with a lack of a clear plan, not knowing when they want to start, how they want to go about it. They haven't prepared the environment. They've just sort of gone for it because usually they think their child's at the right age. And I'm going to come on to that. Failing to prepare their child in the right way. So that's really knowing your child and what the right way to prepare your child for potty training, and not working in partnership. So let's have a look at what I mean by lack of a clear plan. So mistake number 1. I forgot to say that I hope that you got a little booklet to download and print it out. If you didn't print it out, don't worry, just grab a sheet of paper, because research shows that when you write things down from something that you're learning, it helps to really consolidate and helps you to remember. So mistake number 1, you might want to turn to your booklet, lack of a clear plan. So what do I mean by that? I mean, jumping into potty training, maybe at the first sign of a wee on the potty, the amount of parents that say that that's how they started, and it isn't actually necessarily your best indicator, particularly if you haven't got a plan and you don't know quite what you're doing with it. The other mistake is putting pressure on yourself and the child to get on with it and get it over and done with. And it's not having a roadmap to suit your child. So I want to focus on this potty training being about stage, not age. I will be coming to questions at the end, by the way. But when I talk about stage, not age, what I mean is please don't base whether you're going to start potty training on the age of your child. Now, there is a good age range, and I'd say it's somewhere between normally 22 months and 3. Now, if you've got a child that's over 3, don't worry, don't feel guilty. There's plenty here for you, and you know, you can totally potty train your child. So, but that's the kind of the age that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about early potty training, which is called elimination communication. That's a very labor-intensive process, and that's not what I teach. So generally, I'm talking about the stage of your child, and I'll talk to you in a second a bit more about that. But this is also focusing on spending time observing your child. There is now, we're all in the situation where, you know, we're together a lot more than we normally are. So actually, this could be a really, really perfect time to really, really focus and observe your child. And it's also about taking the pressure off yourself and your child, and not rushing at it and expecting to get it done really quickly. This is Vinny, who I worked with, and Vinny was so insistent that she just wanted to get it right. But what she wanted initially was just an ABC, a generic ABC. And she really got, when she took my program, that it's actually just so different. And she wrote and she said, "I'd sincerely like to thank you, Camilla, for all your continued and constant support through this process. For every question I asked, you had a solution. And you also showed me positive parenting is about empowering your child to reach their goals in a confident and positive way." And that's what she found for her little boy, Aaron. He was the one, having done lots of preparation work with him, he was the one that decided, and he was so excited by it. He just said to her, "Mummy, I don't want to wear nappies anymore." But she'd really got him to that place by gently working with him. And, you know, she had a really good plan, and she had observed him and knew him. So when I say focus on stage, not age, this is your child. Please don't compare them. The amount of the amount of people that come to me having said, you know, everybody in my child's nursery is trained and my child isn't, and I feel so guilty. And at that point, they're starting to put the pressure on. They might, you know, their NCT group or their sister's child is trained, or they may have had an older child that trained relatively young, and they think that this child is older and should be. A lot of the time, I'm telling parents to take the shoulds away in general, because once we start talking about shoulds, we're pressuring ourselves and we're pressuring our child. What can you observe about your child? And this is so interesting. There are, there's the physical observations, but there's also their likes and their dislikes, their interest and their abilities. There's so much to know about them. And what I'm hearing at the moment is that actually, because parents are spending so much more time with their children, they're really getting to know them more. I mean, they're also stressed by, you know, having to cook 3 meals a day that they're not used to and entertain them. But nevertheless, it gives you a chance to really observe what's going on for them. And when you make those observations, and this is the planning stage, when you make those observations, you just get so much information that can really help dictate what you want to do next. So these are some of the signs. Now, I only have a certain amount of time with you tonight, so I can't go into everything. And I'm actually just going to take a little drink because my throat's dry. So give me a second. Sorry, because of my mic, you might have heard my gulping. They're showing an interest in others using the potty. Some of you may have seen the little bit of pre-training I did that talked about the process of elimination. So it may be that they're showing an interest in you using the toilet or others using the potty. It may be that they indicate verbally or non-verbally before they're doing a wee or poo. A lot of parents will say, well, they'll tell me afterwards, but that's not necessarily your sign. You actually want to see that before they're going to do a wee. So they may be doing the potty dance. They may go a little bit glassy-eyed. They get, sometimes if they're going to do a poo, they take themselves away, so they know when they're about to do it. They're sometimes dry after 1 to 1.5 hours. So that's a good sign. And this is an interesting one, they can follow a 2-stage instruction. So what I mean by a 2-stage instruction, that might be wash your hands and come and sit at the table, or put your bricks away, then you can watch your program. So that's a two-stage instruction. Now, if your connection goes, press the reconnect button at the top and it will work. I hope that this, now some of you are saying that it's frozen or the sound's gone. I'm just going to ask my technical support. Is the sound okay there? Paul?
I haven't got sound.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. If somebody could tell me that they can hear me.
Yeah, you're back on.
Yeah? I think I'm back on, and hopefully you can hear me. Okay, great. Thank you. Somebody said that there's a refresh button that worked. Okay, great. So following a 2-stage instruction is one of your signs of readiness. But I really want to, thinking about this plan, I want you to be very, very aware of your own impact. Great, the reconnection button's working and people can hear me. Thank you. So you have an incredibly strong impact on your child. Parents will tell me this all the time, that actually when they change their approach, it has such a positive impact on their child. I'm sorry if your screen keeps freezing. Sometimes it might be that in your house you need to tell others to switch off things like Netflix. That might help. So kids are sponges and they pick up on everything. So, when I talk about the positive approach, the more positive you are, the less you compare them. I really, really don't recommend comparing children. Because, it's just not a motivator. What we'll often do is say things like, everybody else in your class can do it. Why can't you? Or your brother was potty trained when he was 2.5. Why aren't you? So your impact on your children is key. And, they pick up on our stress. And in fact, stay to the end, because I've got a little treat that I think would really help you in this current environment, particularly for the stress that we're under. So children they have antennae, they're sponges, they pick up on us, but the good news is that the positive impact is really important. So we can have a really really fundamental positive impact on our children. And that's why, I've just been talking about this, this mindful approach of thinking about, how do I want to be perceived by my children? How do I want to impact them? How do I want to influence them? That's your impact. And it's absolutely key, and it can be a complete game changer with all parenting, and particularly with potty training. So some people are saying that from those signs, they don't think their child's ready. Maybe not. There are others, but I picked the sort of top ones. So jot down in your workbook, for those of you that printed it out, what action could I take from that little section, the first section on mistakes, which was about having a plan. So what action could I take? Make a couple of notes for yourself, because as I said, the more involved you are, the more you think about this, the more you will take away from it. So here we come on to mistake number 2. Just checking, are you still with me? Maybe some of you can just say if the connection's okay for you. I'm really hoping that it's not my end. I can see I've got pretty good signal here. So number 2, and again, this was me failing to prepare and get your child on board. So some of them, I think there's all good connections, thank goodness. But I think there's a little refresh button if you are getting bad connection. So what do I mean by that? Well, here's Susan, a mum of Isabel, and she said Isabel had moved up class in the nursery, and everybody was always potty trained, so they rushed to get her started. It was fine at first, but then she became distressed and miserable and having more and more accidents. Thank goodness she got my support in time, and she began to handle things so differently. And Isabel is now happily using the potty, and she's so much calmer. And, you know, what Susan said was that it was the understanding, the kind of getting into Isabel's mindset, really just sort of thinking about what would help Isabel feel more prepared for potty training. And actually, one of the things that was missing, one of the links for her, was that she didn't know how to ask the teacher at nursery, that, you know, tell the teacher that she needed to go. She didn't ever think that she should interrupt the teacher. And so that was one of the things that they hadn't thought about. And once they did some preparation work with that, things just got so much better for them. And that's a common issue with children at nursery. So what happens when you don't prepare? You risk a resistant child who might get scared of the potty, or they might refuse to go near it, or you wind up starting and stopping. Now, listen, if you have reached a stage where you've stopped, please don't feel that that's wrong, but it can be from a lack of preparation and planning. Sometimes it's just that you feel that it isn't right for your child at that moment in time for them. Sometimes if they've got ill or something, but when you do the planning, the preparation, and even if you've started and it's not going well, you can still do preparation work. So here's some 4 great ways to prepare. Invest in emotional preparation. And Jack's mum and dad said, on Camilla's advice, I really took time to get Jack emotionally ready. Not many people will tell you about this, but it was so helpful. He's quite a nervous child, and it was so reassuring for him. So, you know, emotional preparation might be thinking about, for them, they've been in nappies for, you know, coming up 2 years. It's a security for them. And emotional preparation might just be showing them that you understand that it's going to be different. Helping them get the feel of what it's like without nappies by giving them some naked running around time, but also empathizing that the nappies feel nice. Parents will often say, well, doesn't that mean to say that they'll think that they don't have to lose the nappies? No, if a child feels really emotionally understood, that's a great way of getting them on board. And it's lovely to hear that you're liking the advice I'm giving you already. So other kinds of emotional preparation might be, you know, having them see this as a really positive step. So having them, you're showing them that they're growing, they're developing, they're becoming mature, and they're learning new things. So that's a kind of an example of emotional preparation. And the other thing is teaching them how their brain and body work together. And this is a huge game changer for so many of the parents that take my programs. And it was a really massive game changer for us. So having them understand the connection between the brain and their body, and the signals that their body are telling them, can really, really massively make the difference between them resisting you and not understanding what's meant from them, and really getting on board. Doing some physical preparation and making it fun. Now, children are all really different, and that's why I don't, there isn't a one-size-fits-all for potty training. There are some great principles. There are loads and loads of tips and solutions that I can't go into every single one tonight. But, you know, having worked for nearly 20 years with parents on potty training, I have a huge raft of ideas, but it will be very much child driven. So it's not this one size fits all. But so, for example, with physical preparation, parents will sometimes discover that if you've got a child who's slightly more on the introverted side, they like their own company, that they may prefer that the potty is in a private place. So, you know, you might have decided to put it in the playroom, and it may be that they like somewhere private. Parents will often ask me if they should use a potty or a toilet. I would go with a potty to start with. I think that you can have more of them. It makes it easier to reach and get to. It's easier for a child to sit on a potty than a toilet, and also for doing a poo, it's ergonomically much better position for them. So, but there are other ways to prepare. Getting things like I'll often recommend getting a little, what I call a busy bag, to put next to the potty, so that they've got things to occupy them. And so somebody's saying they can't reconnect. I hope that that's a temporary thing, but yeah, things, you know. So the other physical preparation might be to have them practice pulling their clothes off. Maybe somebody's saying maybe because so many of you are watching it. There will be a replay, so I'm so sorry, you know, you will be able to watch this on the replay. So somebody's saying, can I start again on physical preparation? Okay, so I think perhaps it froze. So physical preparation is getting your environment right, having the right shape potty for your child. It's also figuring out where to put the potties that suit your child, and it's having the right clothes for them that make it easier for them to take on and off, getting some books that they might like, having a little bag that they have next to the potty that makes it you know, things to occupy them. So those are the kind of physical preparation. Some parents like apps, you know, to show their children. I think there's one called Miss Pooh Goes to Pooh Land. So those are kind of physical preparations that make things easier for them. And that's, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to look at our child. We want to figure out what's going to make it easier for them, what's going to make it fun for them, and coming back, you know, to what I said before about your impact on them, how incredibly powerful your influences on your child, and that you change your approach, and that has a really positive impact on how they respond. That isn't to make you guilty. I know that it's difficult. You know, when stress builds up, and particularly when I'll get parents coming to me when things have gone on and on and on, and they feel like they've, you know, just going around in circles, that's when you start to lose patience. And, you know, that was the position I was in. For those of you that didn't come in right at the beginning, I had such a difficult time with my son Felix that, you know, it was miserable, and I was beating myself up about it. So, and number 4 is really don't go into battle or meet resistance with resistance. So I've had parents say to me, you know, they got so frustrated, they thought their child should be done. They would like push them onto the potty and say, now this is where you wee, you know, if they've been having accidents. It really causes a child to resist you when you do things like that. Look, I understand we do things out of exasperation, we don't mean to, but when you meet resistance with resistance, your child will go into battle with you. So you don't want to do that. So that is the end of the section on failing to prepare. And jot in your workbook, what could you do to get your child more on board? Maybe there's just 1 or 2 thoughts you've had. Maybe it's about your mental approach, you know, your attitude or approach. Maybe it's some physical things, you know, maybe it's some practice, but what could you do to get your child on board? Make a note of that in your notebook, or if you haven't got a notebook, just jot it down. Something that you could take away from this. And here's mistake number 3. So it's failing to work in partnership with your child. And as I mentioned at the beginning, this is what really underpins the work that I do. It's having a collaborative gentle, mindful approach to potty training and to parenting. But when you work in partnership with your child, you would just be amazed at the difference that it can make. I'm going to show you a little video in a minute of one of my participants on a program that I run, and she just explains that about she hadn't worked in partnership and the impact that had and the change that made when she did work in partnership. So children need to feel heard and understood. And that's why, if you're meeting resistance with resistance, they won't feel understood. So what do I mean about that? So they need to feel like you really are standing in their shoes. Now, a lot of us think that potty training is just something that needs to happen, but actually it's a huge milestone for a child, and it's something that can, if handled wrongly, it can have a lasting negative impact on them. So they just need to feel that you understand where they are, and if they aren't wanting to cooperate, there will be a reason for it, and they need to feel like you've listened to them, you've understood them, you're on their side, you've stood in their shoes. It's those kind of things that make a really, really big difference to children. And it's the difference between them resisting you and then collaborating with you. Raise your child's self-esteem with descriptive praise. And parents absolutely love the methods that I teach them for using descriptive praise. So to give you an example, when you're using descriptive praise, you're giving your child really specific information about what it is that they've done right. And so often what we'll say is, normally we'll say good job or well done, but actually what we need to do is give them the information and tell them what it is that they've done, and tell them about a quality. So, for example, if you're practicing, say you're in the practicing stage and you're practicing pulling their pants up and down. So instead of saying well done when they've done it, you might say, hey, look at that. You put your fingers through the elastic on your pants, you pull them down, and you pull them right down, and then you practice sitting on the potty. That's so grown up. So can you see the difference between that and well done or good boy? So raise your child's self-esteem with descriptive praise. A child that feels that that's praised wants to behave well, but when it's descriptive, it makes a really big impact. And praising all their capabilities, not just for potty training. What is it that they're learning? What is it that they can do? There's so much in the day if you stop and notice what your child is capable of, and actually stretching them a bit can be great. Giving them little extra things that they can, little thick goals to reach, things that they could achieve, and then really making sure that you praise them for that. I hope that you're all still with me and can see me again. Oh dear, I've said some people saying that I've gone again back on. All I can say is I'm really sorry. I think it's probably the bandwidth, and maybe it's because I've got so many people with me. Sorry, I'm just gonna. Everything okay?
The slide hasn't moved on.
Can you see the showing empathy for an understanding for reluctance?
Something wrong with the bears.
Okay, let's still at number 4. Oh my goodness. So you know what? There are so often tech challenges. Can you see now showing empathy and understanding for their reluctance and fears? Now? Somebody's saying,
no, it's still number 4.
Elvira is saying slide is still on number 4. Okay, still on resistance. Okay, I'm going to just go back. Eek. So failing to work in partnership with your child. I'm hoping that you saw that. Can you see that now? Yeah? Children need to feel heard and understood.
Yes. Okay.
So we're back here. Thank you for bearing with me. It's not easy doing these things So I think it's working now from what I'm gathering. So I don't want to go over too much, but that was the slide to demonstrate that children need to feel heard and understood. This was a slide about raising their self-esteem by using descriptive praise. And as I mentioned, giving them the specific information rather than saying just the well done. Here is the next slide. That didn't move, apparently. So have we got raising children's self-esteem with descriptive praise?
Failing to work in partnership.
Failing to work in partnership. Oh, boy. Has that one moved on for you? Praising all their capabilities, not just for potty training. It's not moved on.
No, stuck on mistake number 3.
Okay. Now, I don't know. There is a panic button I have here, which means that I can give you another, I think it takes you through to another link. So people are saying it's still stuck on number 3. Okay, I think I'm going to go with my panic button because it's not moving on. I'm just going to try one more thing. See, I'll go back and then maybe go forwards. Can you see me going backwards?
No.
No. Okay. But you can hear me, obviously. Okay. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to do this. So people are saying maybe they should just hear what I'm saying, hear my voice. Stays on the same, but they can hear. Okay, do you know what? I'm concerned about using the panic button in case it doesn't work. So if you, no, I think people can hear me, but it'd be really, really nice for you to see. Listening to you, don't worry about the slides. Okay, so I had reached.
I'll try and stop the slide and start again.
Okay, that's a good idea. So slides stop.
No, I'm doing it.
Okay, my able assistant is doing it. Just bear with me if you can. Somebody said that's fine. Okay, so can you see?
Yes, yeah,
you've moved on. Okay, great. So I think I'd covered that. Nope, let's go back. Yeah, praising all their capabilities.
No, it's not done it.
It's not done it. Not just for potty training.
Oh yeah, working in partnership.
Showing empathy and understanding for their reluctance and fears. Have we got that?
Praise all their capabilities, not just for potty training. Okay,
it looks like it's not moving on then. Okay, I'm going to carry on because you're being so patient with me. Some of you are saying, yay, it's working. I really hope it is. Are you seeing a slide that says show empathy and understanding for their reluctance? Yay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. You know what? Tech issues are the most terrifying thing when you're on a webinar, and you've stayed with me, so that's great. So showing empathy and understanding for their reluctance and fears. Again, this can be such a game changer. So, you know, for example, parents have quite often, people are showing me empathy, yay! Parents will often have the issue that their child refuses to poo on the potty. And when I work with them and help them to show the empathy and understanding that their child is actually frightened of something, rather than, you know, what we did was just get cross with our son Felix. So using that empathy, using using the language, I can't go into all the language here, but saying something like, you know what, you find it really difficult to poo on the potty, and that's why you go and hide in a quiet place. Something is frightening you. I don't know what it is, but I know that you don't find it easy. That's showing understanding and empathy, rather than telling them you mustn't do that anymore. And when you get your child on board by showing them, and this isn't just for potty training, I mean, this is just so incredibly useful for everything, but that's when you are working in partnership. So that's an example of working in partnership. And working in partnership takes the stress out of potty training. I can't reiterate, oh, somebody's sweet. What's a webinar without tech issues? You're absolutely right. I can't reiterate this more, that when you work in partnership, it just becomes so much more pleasant. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's a journey that you're going on together. And you're not stressed and they're not stressed. So jot down in your workbook, what could you do more to work in partnership? Perhaps there's something else that you could do that you've got from what I've been saying. And I can see lots of you are showing me empathy by understanding how tricky it is to have tech issues. So these, again, I just want to go over, this is what I've been talking about, the 3 mistakes even the best parents make. So it was about a lack of a clear plan, failing to prepare your child in the right way, and not working in partnership. And I hope that you've got some ideas about how to do that differently, how to have a plan, how to prepare, and how to work in partnership. So have you learned something so far? So it would be great to hear from you, whether that's, whether you're with me, whether, you're thinking, yes, this person gets me, she's got an approach that I like. I hope that's you. So I hope that you've learned something so far. Maybe you might even jot down for me what you have learned so far. So some people are saying, yeah, super helpful, great, that's lovely. Now, I can't, obviously, so far we've been running 45 minutes. I can't teach you everything. There's just so much more that I'd love to show you. But what I'd love you to think about is, do you want to potty train with a mindful, gentle approach and get the job done as well? Because that's what I would really love you to want to do. And what if you learned techniques to positively connect with your child and get them to be more cooperative? How would that be? And what if you started really enjoying your child even more, as well as getting them to potty train? How would that be? So I've got a quick question for you. Are you okay? I want to tell you about a program that I've got that can take you further. And I hope that you could just have a little listen to that. And then I've also got a chance to answer some of the questions that you're asking. So yeah, somebody's saying positive reinforcement. Anyway, I'm going to come on to questions at the end. But are you okay for me to just tell you about how you might be able to take it further? Because some of the questions that are being asked already might be answered now. So I have 2 options for you. You've got option 1, you take what you've learned tonight and you go it alone and hope for the best. And I hope that you've got stuff. Also, there's some freebie downloads. Some of you may have already have, which hopefully will give you some, the chance to go it alone. Or what if I personally help you? Now, I've described some people along the way, and we've also got a little video coming up of somebody who's just so sweet, Chrissy, who I worked with in Chicago. So what if I personally helped you through the entire process? What if you get a proven roadmap to easy potty training and to connected parenting? I have produced, so what I wanted to tell you about is a program that I have worked for, the knowledge has been 20 years, but the actual putting together Potty Success Academy took me well over a year. And it is the only program of its kind that not only shows you exactly how to successfully potty train quickly and easily, but also shows you how to work in partnership with your child to build your relationship and to gain cooperation and have a harmonious family life. So I'm absolutely genuine about this. It's Potty Success Academy has been so powerful for so many people. And I want to just tell you, by the end of the program, you will have potty trained your child at the right time with the right methods for them. You'll have had guidance and support to give you the confidence and the ability to stay calm, and gained an understanding of your child and how to motivate him to work in partnership. And that's not just partnership for potty training, that's for everything that you do with your child. And you'll have learned tools for life, for a strong connection and great communication with your child. That's building on what I've talked about already about the praise. It's building on from the emotional connection. And you figured out how to avoid or deal with resistance or problems. And here's a few words from Chrissy in Chicago. Just a minute of Chrissy, and I want you to hear what she says.
I highly recommend this course for anyone who's potty training. Whether you're potty training your child for the first time and you want to learn from an expert instead of through trial and error, or if you've tried another method with one of your children and it's just not working and you need something new, I highly recommend Camilla's program. I wish we had found it sooner to prevent all of the challenges and the stress that it caused us trying it on our own so many times and beating a dead horse. They say the definition of crazy is doing the same thing and hoping for a different result, and that was what we were doing with Otto's potty training. We needed a different approach, a more mindful approach, and Camilla led us through it step by step, both through the information in her course and her coaching throughout the process. I knew when I dove into Potty Success Academy that we were going to be successful. It was just going to take a little time and some tweaks, but I knew Camilla was not good. We were no longer going it alone. We had someone there. I had someone there checking in on not only my son, but me, offering us tips, tricks, tweaks that we could try so that every day we steadily saw progress.
Okay, so here we go again. It was absolutely, it really took something for Chrissy to. Are you with me now? Yeah. It really took something for Chrissy to record that. It's quite a nerve-wracking thing. So I think it was real testimony to what she got. And when she says coaching, what she means is, I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. So, what I think you need from a course and what you'll get from me is detailed and simplified training, support and coaching, and how to make it easy and problem solve. And this is what Potty Success Academy, it's your roadmap. So here is what's contained in it. It's an online program. You get access to your, you set yourself up with a password to the private members area, and it's in modules that you access. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. But module 1 is all the preparation, how to get ready. Module 2 is building that partnership and collaboration, what I call get set, and module 3 is ditch the nappies with confidence. And then module 4, my slide's gone a little bit haywire here, but it's troubleshooting and dealing with constipation and withholding, which is a big issue for a lot of parents. And I've done a lot of research in that. So if that's your thing, you'll get a lot from that module itself, but also from all the other modules. There are a huge range of printable resources, diagrams, handouts, the brain-body connection diagram, cheat sheets, and a really comprehensive ebook. The total value of that program is $395, but I want you to wait because I've got an incredibly special coronavirus offer coming up for you. I also have some bonuses. I recorded a consultation with a top nutritionist called Zoe Kirby. You can follow her on Instagram. She did a recorded consultation with me on nutrition for children's gut health and avoiding constipation. It's fascinating. I learned so much myself just talking with her. And the value of that alone would be at least $80. So the Potty Success Academy and bonus 1 would be $475. I have another bonus for you. I recorded 2 consultations with childcare experts. So it's not just hearing from me, but it's people that are trained in the field of childcare. So Heta is a Norland nanny. Anyone that knows the Norland School, it's the top nanny training school in the world. It was lovely to find that their approach was very similar to mine. And Becca, who's a daycare consultant, that's telling you about how to get your daycare on board and how to move the transition between home and daycare. So the value of those 2 bonuses and the program would be $555. But I have a third bonus, and this is where Chrissy was getting her coaching. She was in the private members Facebook group. And I am so committed to my parents that I'm in there all the time. I do a live Q&A once a week. You get the support because very often there's a tweak that you need to make. And you may not, you just want that personalized help. So that would be just being a part of that. It's very difficult to put a price on that, but I just, priced it at approximately $150. So the total value of Potty Success Academy with the 3 bonuses is $705. This is an example here. Some of you have come through to me from OBGYN mum, Brooke. She did my program and she wrote a question that they had. Her daughter had been withholding wheeze and they'd got over that issue, but she, somebody's saying they can't download the handout. Don't worry about it. We can sort that out. So she was asking whether it was okay that her daughter was insisting on having the potty watch in this living room, watching a certain TV program, if she's struggling to go. And my advice was definitely don't make a big deal about it. Chat with her about why she likes to do that, but don't make an issue. And in fact, since then, I heard from her a couple of days ago that she's all fine. She's not withholding anymore, and she's done and dusted. So I would really, really love you to join me on Potty Success Academy. It's like I said, you get access to the members area where it's in modules, bite size. You can listen to it at your leisure. You can share it with a partner, and you get the coaching from me in the members group. You're not going to be alone, and that's what so many parents find is so incredibly reassuring. I have an incredibly reduced price for it. I'm aware of the financial stresses that a lot of people are under. And so I'm bringing it to you today at a price of $129, which is just over £100 in today's exchange. There is when you go to the checkout page, there is an option of 2 installments, if that makes it easier for you. And I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. I'm so absolutely confident that the program will bring you so much. And that's why I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you go through the program and you don't feel like you've got what you want from it, you just need to send me an email and tell me why, and I'll, without any quibble, give you your money-back guarantee. So that is what Potty Success Academy is about. That's what the members area looks like with all the video modules. And this is what the checkout page looks like, and that will also give you the option to pay in 2 installments if you'd like. And for anybody that signs up tonight, I have a special extra bonus, which is a relaxation audio for stressed parents of toddlers. I think in the circumstances that we're under, that you'd find that really, really useful. It's something that I recorded myself. I have a background in hypnotherapy, so it's very, very relaxing, and I've had great feedback on it. So join tonight and you'll get that extra bonus. And I've now, there we are. There should be a link to join. Is that up? The link to join?
We'll try and get it down. Yeah.
We're bringing that up. with my able assistant in the background, aka my husband. But if by any chance you can't see the link, it's rather a long URL, I'm afraid. It's myparentingpartnership.com/join Potty Success Academy, and Academy is spelled ACADEMY. Sometimes I spell it with an A by mistake. So that's how you would join. You get access to all that I've talked about, including the bonuses and the relaxation audio. I would just, you heard what Chrissy said, don't go it alone. Have me be there and the other members of the group supporting you, cheering you on, and you'll make this process stress-free and enjoyable. So time for your questions. Please fire away. So somebody is saying, should you start with a nappy-free time per day and work on more each day? I would say that before you're going to go without nappies, definitely give your child time before the bath and have some naked running around time. But when you're actually going to decide to go for it, having done your preparation, and that's all in the module on preparation, on the get ready and the get set modules. But once you've got to the go module, then I would say just you need to take the nappies off. There will be some weeing on the floor. There's no way I'm going to guarantee that this is a completely mess-free experience for you. But the more preparation you do, the quicker it is the actual time for when you've removed the nappies. And I do recommend once you've removed the nappies for some as much naked time as you can do. So I hope that answers your question. Should you stop and restart in a few days to follow your method? I see. So I assume Linda means that if you when you purchase the program, should you stop now, go through the program and then start again? Possibly. I think once you've watched modules 1 and 2, you then get an idea of where your child is. So if things are going badly wrong at the moment, you might want to stop, go back to nappies, and then restart using the methods that are in the program. Still confused as to what's best. Remove the nappy all day or put in undies or not, or just leave a nude bum. It is very individual, Aisling, and I would, what parents will usually figure out from listening to Get Ready and Get Set modules, that they figure out what's best for their child. Usually I do recommend some nude time, but I've worked with parents who have gone straight into underwear and it's been absolutely fine. So it is an individual thing. But if you, so somebody else is asking how I teach the mind-body connection. That is all detailed within the Get Set module. It's absolutely fascinating. And I've got some really great diagrams that I've had designed that are very child friendly, and I also give the language. So I'm not just telling you, I'm telling you how you speak to your child. So I'm giving loads and loads of examples, both on the audio and also in the printouts that you get, to show you what language change makes the difference. I had another video, but I'm not going to show you that because I don't want to take too much of your time, but it's of a doctor that I worked with, and she said that it was the language that was the game changer for her, changing the way that they spoke to their child that made the big difference. So people are saying, sorry, somebody not started yet, but want to do it positively. Somebody, I'm just being handed a question here. Yeah, okay. So this special offer is on for the next 10 days, and it is 10 days only. So by next Friday, which is I haven't got the date in my head. That is when my offer ends. So my cart is opening tonight. Tonight is the first webinar. And the last one will be, I'm doing 2 next next Wednesday, which is the 9th, I believe. And then my cart will close. So this special offer will close 2 days after that. But if you want the extra bonus of the relaxation audio, you need to purchase tonight. And, you know, you heard it from Chrissy, like, why wait? If you want to get this started, I would just so encourage you. And somebody's saying resistance with resistance really resonates. And I've got so much within the program that explains that even more, and explains how when you emotionally connect with your child, when you really listen to their feelings, and when you validate their feelings, it lowers their resistance, and it lowers your resistance too, because you feel that they just feel they've understood you. So what other questions are here? I don't know whether I'm going the right way. I think I need to go back up. Somebody's saying they're not showing any signs. Should I wait before joining? Donna, you know what? Some parents have bought before their children are showing signs, and what they love is they get the positive techniques to use anyway. So, and then they just get ready with it. So, you know, and as I say, the special offer is only on for 10 days. It really is a rock bottom price for everything that you get within the program. So I think that you'd love to listen to it and get yourself ready. And then you might get the confidence to go for it, depending on the stage that your child's at. A child gets very emotional when she needs to wee or poo. Yeah, this is actually one of the issues that Brooke had, and we worked it out. You know, she got loads of information from within the modules that she listened to and watched, and she also got some extra ideas and coaching from me. But it's a common one, so you're not alone with that. Somebody with a speech delay saying, should they wait? Definitely not. If they've got the understanding, you don't need to wait. I've worked with people with children with speech delay really, really well, and as long as you can communicate with them, you can get them giving you signals, and it's not using signing, so it definitely shouldn't be an issue. So what other questions have I got? Somebody's child is 3 years old, don't see them ready from the signs that I said. I would say if they're 3, they should definitely be ready, but it may be that the signs that I said weren't what is showing for your child. But within module 1, the Get Ready, there are many more signs of readiness. So knows when he's doing a wee and poo in his nappy, sits down, but he's afraid to go to the washroom. Yeah, fear is about them knowing that you've understood, and it's about the language that you use for them. So there are some very specific ways of acknowledging your child's fears. Just to give you one example, it might be to say, so he's afraid to go to the washroom, go into the washroom. I don't know whether you mean, that may be a question that you need to have a potty in a different place other than a washroom, and see if you can get him to, another stage might be to have him just sit on the potty to do it, even if he's in his nappy. So that might help. Somebody said don't think they're fully ready at the moment. What do I advise? I think I answered that just now in the question. So what else? Points to her nappy when she's done a toilet. She's curious about downstairs. She's touching. She also grabs. Oh yeah, that really sounds like your daughter's ready. But I can't reiterate it more about doing the preparation and having a plan. Don't just go for it from one day to the next. Somebody else is saying, been out of nappies for 6 weeks. Mostly dry overnight. Sounds great. Heather isn't self-initiating yet. Doesn't ask or communicate. I think that's normal. It is tackled in the program, and it gives you immense reassurance. And it also, just like I keep saying, it's about, the program will give you the different ways to connect with your child. Sometimes parents potty train and then they reach an impasse, something happens. And within module 4, the troubleshooting module, are loads of ways of dealing with those kind of setbacks, because it can happen. So, but yes, the transition from you prompting and them initiating is covered in the program. Okay, see if... should they use a nappy at night? Yes, I would definitely recommend sticking with nappies at night until you're really secure during the day. And okay, how long is the join up on offer? So as I mentioned, this extra special offer with the relaxation audio, which I honestly genuinely think that you'll love, is only on for those on live tonight, joining me tonight. But the offer is on for the next 10 days. And then the offer closes, and the price will go up. I don't know actually when I'm next going to release the program. This is an exclusive release. But next time I do release it, the price will be more, because I'm sympathetic to how you all are right now, and I've given you an absolutely rock bottom COVID-19 price. So if you would like to join, I would absolutely love to have you on board. We're going to be in this journey together. We're you and the other members of Potty Success Academy are going to be cheering each other on. There is so much within it, and it's going to be valuable for life. If you've got more than one child, a younger child, you'll use it for them. But even so, the skills and the techniques, this approach that you'll get from the program will last you throughout your parenting. And that isn't just, I say that because of all the feedback that I get from all the parents that I work with. And I don't just work with potty training parents, but if you like what I've said, you will like my approach. If not everybody likes me, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but if you like what I've said, then you will like my approach. So if there are no more questions coming up, pull-up nappies or normal sideways sticky nappies, somebody's asked. I recommend, actually, do you know what? It doesn't matter, but I don't recommend using pull-ups instead of potty training. So when you're going to go for the go for it, the module 3 nappies off, then I would just recommend you take nappies off and don't mix pull-ups and using the potty, because I think it gets really confusing. We're about to have a second baby and our child is just over 2 and showing signs of readiness. Would you advise waiting a while so it's easier to focus on partnering with a toddler to potty train? So it depends when the second baby's coming. But you can certainly, Lindsay, you can certainly do the preparation stuff, the partnering stuff. And sometimes, children will just tell you that they're ready. So, our mistake having had another child was that we didn't do the partnership stuff. But, I've had parents with a second baby and it'd be incredibly successful. So I think somebody's saying they've always said it's about stage, not age, prepping myself now. Definitely use the language you recommend. Great. Okay, lovely. So anybody else? Hope you have my question, Nicola. Do you want to repeat the question? Because I think otherwise I'd have to scroll back to it. See if you want to. I'll do a little bit of scrolling. No, can't see. Nicola, see if you want to ask that question again, if you're still with me. How can I get my son to do a big wee in the toilet all the time? Somebody's asking. It's, you know, it's a whole approach, Samantha, but it's about getting them on board. So sorry, I'm going to answer Samantha, and then I can see that Nicola has asked a question as well. It may be that a potty would be better, or it may be that yeah, that's just because I don't know more details. It sounds like it should be a really easy one to answer, but it's so dependent on what's going on for the child. I have a little one who started and did well, and I stopped because I found it stressful. Yeah, Nicola, you know, I think you would really, this happens so much. I think you would really, really love the program. You'll get the support, you'll get the ideas, you'll change your approach, and you won't find it stressful anymore. So I would say, you know, I'm all about giving you the confidence to go for it again. And I would just so encourage you to come on board with us, join Potty Success Academy, because it'll, you know, changing your approach will have a massive impact on your child. And it's just, you know, it's about that. So hope that answered it. It's been helpful. Great. Okay. Please join me. The offer is up there for you. If for some reason it's not showing, it's showing there on the slide. I'm going to leave the slide up there if you wanted to come back to it. But I'm going to sign out now because I think that everybody has asked the questions that they want to ask. Yeah, I think that that's everybody's questions. And thank you so much for joining me. I've really gone on tonight. I spent an hour and 15 minutes with you guys. So I hope that you've got value. And like I said, I'd absolutely love you to join me. I know that parents will often say, you know, shouldn't I be doing this myself? But I would say, why not get support? There's so many other areas of our life that we do get support in. Why not get support with potty training? So thank you so much. And it's been great having so many of you on board. And I'm going to take the camera off and the audio.